afternoon, everyone. We are going to call this meeting to order for the year of 2026.
Yes.
And we're excited about it. I'm sorry, my mic was not on, so I'm hoping I didn't have to repeat that. So if you don't mind, let us stand for our invocation. Let us pray. We come before you with grateful hearts, pausing to give thanks. Thank you for bringing us through the year behind us, through the challenges, its lessons, and its blessings. Thank you, O Lord, for your hand of protection, your hand of provision and guidance over the city of Florence, its leaderships, and its people. We thank you for the year of 2025, for the progress made, the doors open, and the strength you gave us to keep moving forward. Even in moments of uncertainty, you've proven yourself faithful. Now, as we look ahead to 2026, O Lord, we ask for your continued presence. Grant us wisdom as we govern, courage as we lead, and unity as a community. Help us to make decisions that honor justice, promote peace, and uplift every citizen that we serve. We trust you with our future, O God, and thank you in advance for what 2026 will bring. And it's in your name that we pray. Let every heart say amen. Amen. Now let us all say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, we have before us the approval of minutes for December 8th. What say ye?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We will now have honors and recognitions. You see what I put here?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have,
Madam Mayor, a couple of resolutions we want to move up.
okay, just excuse me just a minute. There are a few that you want to move up, and what we will do, because we are so crowded, we will get the resolutions with the our 12U moved up. Is there another one that we need to move up?
Yes, Jazz, Resolution 2026-04.
So how about that? We'll just move the resolutions up, all four of them, right after our service and recognitions, and we'll do all recognitions together, if that's okay. So the Mayor Pro Tem will help me out. We have a number of recognitions, and so that I won't run back, the Mayor Pro Tem will call out the names. The first name is Gregory Allen, 35 years, beautification and facilities.
Before I begin and have to stick to the script for time purposes, I will say there is not enough that I could put on a sheet of paper to recognize this man right here. So, Mayor, Council, and those present today, it's an absolute honor to stand before you to recognize one of the city's greatest employees of all time, Mr. Gregory Allen. Gregory began his career with the city on December 10th, 1990, and has provided 35 years of dedicated service to the Public Works Department. During his tenure, Greg has served in several roles in the Public Works Department, including team leader, special construction equipment operator, street supervisor, and now as our beautification and facilities division coordinator. Everyone has a guy for this or a guy for that, and Greg is the guy that can do it all. So when something happens in the city of Florence, A lot of faces around here, I see directors and staff members, Greg's the one they call to get it done. So no matter what division or department, no matter what the task, Greg is constantly calling to be the guy that can get in and get it done. Not just get it done, but get it done right and in a timely manner. Throughout his career, he's consistently exceeded the expectations of the city, demonstrating professionalism, reliability, and a strong commitment to public service. His hard work and experience greatly contribute to the maintenance of the city's streets, facilities, green spaces, and overall quality of life for citizens. Greg's dedication leaves a lasting legacy within the Public Works Department and the city as a whole. Please join me in recognizing Mr. Greg.
Madam Mayor, may I speak, Greg, before you run away? Y'all don't know this, but at the Pecan Festival committee meetings all year long, we always got to have somebody there to speak up and to talk to about getting everything just right for the Pecan Festival. Greg is a man. And I tell you, if you go around the festival and you like how it all looks, you can say a big thank you to Greg.
Next, we have a...
Oh, next is Daniel Correa.
Another exceptional. All right, today we also recognize Mr. Daniel Correa for his dedicated service to the city of Florence. Daniel began his career with the city on November 29th, 2010 as a maintenance worker in the Beautification and Facilities Division of the Public Works Department. During the entirety of his career, Daniel's been assigned to the downtown district. During an important time of redevelopment and beautification, he's taken great pride in the perpetual care and maintenance of our downtown district, helping keep it clean, welcoming, and well-maintained for residents, visitors, and local businesses. Daniel consistently provides quality work and can always be counted on to work diligently each day. His focus on quality work and his strong work ethic has recently led him to be assigned to be a mentor and train a younger staff member in the downtown district maintenance operations. We sincerely thank Daniel for his hard work, reliability, and commitment to the city of Florence over the last 15 years, and look forward to many, many more. So please join me.
Madam Mayor, I like calling out these names. Retha Brown.
I want to thank Retha for all of her service in 20 years as an employee. She began her career with the city in 2006 as a part-time employee with community services, but part-time was not enough for her or for the city. Quickly became a full-time employee as a community development specialist, where she worked closely with both community services and codes enforcement to make huge improvements in our neighborhoods. Retha worked her way up to the position of community relations manager, and she continues her work in the neighborhood, as well as direct custodial and maintenance staff in the field that assist with neighborhood cleanup and the maintenance of this building. And during her time with community services, she's seen the development and implementation of the neighborhood revitalization strategy, the positive transformation of our core neighborhoods to include housing construction, countless home rehabs, and countless demolitions through the years. She's worked diligently to provide safe and affordable housing to our residents through such programs as CDBG, NSP housing, as well as the North Point subdivision, which is nearing its completion of development. Retha's also a dedicated mother, grandmother, and in her spare time, she enjoys making old things new again, always looking for the that special piece of furniture to make fresh and new again. And I also have to mention Retha's trademark dress. In our work group, when we're trying to figure out what's appropriate to wear, we say, "Look, Retha." And if you check out her shoes,
For real.
she probably has a whole range dedicated to her shoes. We all have vices, right?
Yes.
But Retha's truly a ray of sunshine for this city and this world. Thank you.
Yes, he is. Oh, she got.
No. Next is Alex Ussery. Ussery? Ussery? Is it Ussery or Ussery? Is it Ussery? Okay.
Sit there, sit.
There you go.
Lieutenant Alex Ussery.
Ussery.
Alex started with the police department in January of 2006. In 2009, the department started the community action team. Thanks to his diligence and proactiveness, Alex was chosen to work for this team. He did a lot of good for that team. I believe he made a lot of connections with this community that have lasted him through his career. Alex was chosen to work for this team because of that dedication and his proactiveness to this department. From 2012 to 2019, Alex was assigned to the Special Investigations Unit as a narcotics agent. From 2013 to 2015, while still working in the narcotics division, he was sworn in as a task force agent with the Drug Enforcement Agency. In this role, he assisted with undercover operations on federal and local levels. In 2019, Alex returned to the Patrol Division as a corporal, bringing with him a wealth of knowledge from his years in SIU. In 2022, Alex earned a promotion to sergeant in the Patrol Division, to work as a frontline supervisor for A Squad. In 2025, he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant, where he now manages B Squad in the Patrol Division. Some of Alex's notable achievements throughout his career, he served as a member of our emergency response team. He's earned certifications in pistol and rifle instructor, OC instructor. He's a meth lab technician and disposal certification, and he has criminal gang investigation certifications. Alex is a huge asset to this team, and I hope he is maybe up to 35 years like Greg one day. Greg's a champ. Thank you, Alex, for that.
Madam Mayor, can I add to that he is very good at skeet shooting also.
Next is John Watts.
John Watts, 15 years of service with our department. He began his career with Florence Police Department in 2010, and he proved to be a dependable young officer with the ability to learn quickly and build relationships with the public. As John continued to grow in his career policing, he focused heavily on interdiction and DUI enforcement. In 2017, John was promoted to corporal within the Patrol Division, and that same year he successfully completed the grueling 3-month process of becoming a certified drug recognition expert. In April of 2019, John became a drug recognition expert instructor. I have no idea why these guys want to take on so much of this schooling. But congratulations to that. In April of 2019, John continued progressing in the department, and in February of 2021 earned a promotion to the rank of sergeant, becoming a first-line supervisor for the Patrol Division. In September of 22, John earned a promotion to the rank of lieutenant. John's current assignment is the Special Services Commander in the Patrol Division, where he oversees the traffic unit, community action team, and our Class 3 officers responsible for building security and transport. Johns also has achievements in certifications in DUI and SFST instructor, firearms instructor, specific skills instructor. He was selected Officer of the Year in 2017, and he was Supervisor of the Year in 2021 and 2023. I think that just goes to show how much respect he has amongst our department and amongst our officers. So we really appreciate him and thank you for your service.
Christopher Russell.
Rounded it out, 10 years of service, but it feels like it's been a lot longer than that for some reason. Not sure. All good time. Corporal Chris Russell started the police department in January of 2016. He served in the U.S. Marines prior to his career in law enforcement, and he brought many valuable skills to his profession. In July of 2017, Chris joined the emergency response team, which handles high-risk warrants and tactical operations. His military experience was helpful in obtaining his credentials as a team sniper. He was transferred to the crime scene unit in May of 19, and he's still currently assigned to this unit. He's excelled in this role because of his attention to detail and his drive to piece together efforts in an effort to solve cases. Chris was promoted to the rank of corporal while in the crime scene unit in August of 2022, and he is currently, in fact today, started the assessment process to be promoted to the rank of sergeant. Good luck with that. He has many instructor certifications as well, including defensive tactics, firearms, patrol rifle, active shooter, TACMED, and other beneficial certifications for our training department. And hopefully he will continue his long career with us. And we appreciate all his service.
Alex McGovern.
Preface all my remarks to start with. We actually had 4 people that we recognized today. 2 of them couldn't show up because they were sick for whatever reason. However, the 2 that we're honoring today, well, actually all 4 of them were actually hired all at the same time when we opened up our Station 5 on the south side of town. So they all had 15 years of service, and I'm happy to say that all those guys are already officers now. So that says a lot for who they are. And also for Jacob, a ray of sunshine a while ago was said that somebody was, and all these guys are rays of sunshine too. So you know, I know in the start. Chief McGovern, Deputy Chief Alex McGovern began his service with the City of Florence on January 3rd, 2011, and bringing over 20 years of service, fire service experience to the department. During his career, he has progressed through the ranks, serving as a firefighter driver, a captain, a battalion chief, assistant chief, and now deputy chief. So he's served in every rank in our department except mine. And I hope I can hang on to mine a little bit longer. Chief McGovern is recognized for his commitment to serve the community and for his leadership and advancing the department's capabilities and professionalism. So please help join Alex in 15 years of service.
Jacob Schuler.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Captain Schuler began his career with the Florence Fire Department January 3rd, 2011 also, after entering the fire service in 2008. During his time with the department, he has served in multiple roles as a firefighter, as a relief driver, and then as a captain. He currently serves as a captain on our downtown ladder truck, ladder 114, Howard 114, right? You're going to hear me when I say that there. Okay. Howard 114. Captain Schuler is known for his dedication to the community and his strong commitment to the people he serves alongside, reflecting the values and professionalism of the Florence Fire Department. Please join me in congratulating him with 15 years of service.
That's it.
That's it. All right, next we will have the resolutions that we will move up. We'll start with A, resolution number 2026-01. It is a resolution honoring Smiling Scoops for their contributions to efforts to revitalize downtown Florence.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
What say you?
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Resolution number 2026-01 is sponsored by Councilman McCall, a resolution honoring Smiling Scoops for their contributions to the efforts to revitalize downtown Florence. Whereas the owners of Smiling Scoops have established an original ice cream parlor in downtown Florence and are community-minded small business owners, and whereas the investment by Smiling Scoops is welcomed and is playing a role in the continued development of Florence's downtown business district, and whereas the owners of Smiling Scoops, Stoney and Whitney Dupree, are dedicated Chamber of Commerce members and contributors to the community's growth through their unique themed establishment. And whereas the Greater Florence Chamber of Commerce has requested that the city recognize the business efforts of Smiling Scoops and its presence and contributions to our community. Now therefore be it resolved that upon the petition of the Greater Florence Chamber of Commerce and in recognition of Smiling Scoops' contributions to the continued efforts to revitalize downtown Florence, the City Council of the City of Florence hereby declares the months of January through March Smiling Scoops Quarter, and it's so resolved this 12th day of January 2026.
Council, what say ye? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Thank you. Will the owner please come? And who's sponsoring? I'm sorry.
Are we all heading to Smiling Scoops afterwards for some ice cream?
Yay!
You want to say a few words?
If you want to say something.
Speak.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank God for everything. It's a great honor for us to live in Florence all our lives and to make some of our dreams come true in our own city. Florence has been very supportive of our business, and what can I say? I love our city, so we're gonna keep moving forward.
That's it?
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I say something?
Yes. Councilwoman Lee Smith.
I personally want to thank you for incorporating and bringing things for children to do in our downtown. I think you're the first person to have done that, and thank you.
Also, listen, you got hot dogs too. Don't forget about that.
Got the hot dogs, nachos and cheese too. Well, thank y'all.
Next, we will have resolution number 2026-02, a resolution to recognize National Marriage Week in the city of Florence. This is sponsored by Councilman Braddock. We just stayed the whole week together, so I don't know why I'm forgetting the name.
She's got a lot of other names she could call me right now.
What say ye?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Amanda.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Resolution number 2026-02, a resolution recognizing February 7th through 14th, 2026 as National Marriage Week in the city of Florence. Whereas National Marriage Week is an annual observance taking place February 7th through 14th that encourages communities, organizations, couples, families, and civic leaders to celebrate and strengthen marriage through intentional support, awareness, and engagement. And whereas National Marriage Week seeks to promote the positive impact that healthy marriages have on individuals, families, and the broader community by providing resources, events, and opportunities for couples to invest in their relationships. And whereas this week emphasizes the importance of strong marriages in fostering stable and flourishing families, which contribute significantly to the cultural, social, and economic well-being of the city of Florence. And whereas National Marriage Week is celebrated nationwide as an opportunity for communities to come together with a shared purpose of strengthening marriages and supporting couples in every season of life. And whereas the City of Florence values healthy, enduring marriages and recognizes their foundational role in building strong families and a thriving community. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Florence, South Carolina hereby proclaims February 7th through 14th, 2026 as National Marriage Week in the City of Florence and encourages all residents, faith-based groups, businesses, and community organizations to recognize and support the importance of marriage through community and family-focused activities during this observance and throughout the year. Resolved this 12th day of January, 2026.
Oh, will Mr. Chris Hanley come? You gotta take a picture first. Yes.
Madam Mayor, can I say a few words? First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Pastor Hanley, and for bringing this to our attention. Secondly, for all of us on council and the city manager, we all have better hats. Even Zach, you know, but he hadn't made that commitment yet. He's got a better hat as well.
Of course.
Much better, yeah, that's got a much better hat. But, you know, we would not be able to serve our community without our spouses and our significant others supporting us, and so I appreciate you for bringing this to our attention. Also appreciate the date so that we will not forget Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You know, that's very important, but thank you for bringing this up. I appreciate it.
Emily's going to hand out something for you. City Council, Mayor, Madam Mayor, thank you for voting up this proclamation. I believe it is something that just highlights the importance of marriage in our community. It doesn't prescribe anything. Rather, what it does is it gives us, recognizes a substantial body of research that shows that strong, stable marriages, when they are healthy, contribute positively to individuals, families, and communities. I've given you all, I don't think everybody's going to get this, but I've given you all a National Marriage Week piece that talks about the fact that it's a national, nonpartisan effort that focuses on strengthening marriages. That's what the National Marriage Week group does. And then also you all just received a second piece that is called Why Marriage Matters, 30 Conclusions from Social Services. And it's drawn from decades of peer-reviewed research, and these findings consistently show that children experience greater stability, adults tend to enjoy better health and economic outcomes, and communities bear fewer social and financial costs when families are strong and stable. So the proclamation before you that you voted up simply acknowledges these widely recognized benefits and encourages our community to support and strengthen marriages for the good of all. So thank you for your support. As you know, I want our community to flourish. Thank you for using that in the proclamation. And let's support marriages in our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Council, next we have resolution number 2026-04. It's a resolution to recognize, of recognition. I'm skipping the 4. I'm sorry. Let's go back. Resolution number 2026-03. Thank you, Council. A resolution to recognize, of recognition for the 12th U Florence All-Star football team for winning the South Carolina Athletic Program State Championship. Woo-hoo! This resolution is sponsored by Councilman McCall, but council, what say ye?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 2026-03, a resolution of recognition for the Florence All-Star Football League 12U team for winning the South Carolina Athletics Program State Championship. Whereas the Florence All-Star Football League 12U team competed in the South Carolina Athletics Program State Championship, earning the state title through outstanding athletic performance. And whereas the Florence 12U All-Star Football Team advanced to the state championship after winning the lower state championship on November 24th, 2025, hosted at the Freedom Florence Recreation Complex in Florence, South Carolina, defeating North Strand, Sumter, and Myrtle Beach over the course of 2 weeks without allowing a single point to be scored against them. And whereas the Florence 12U All-Star Football Team faced Fountain Inn in the state championship game on December 13th, 2025 at Greenwood High School's J.W. Babb Stadium in Greenwood, South Carolina, defeating Fountain Inn by a score of 28-20 and snapping their opponent's 27-game winning streak. And whereas, under the leadership and guidance of coaches Craig Anderson, Ronaldo Cannon, Darian Rollerson, and James Woodbury, these young athletes demonstrated exceptional teamwork, discipline, perseverance, and sportsmanship. And whereas, through hard work and determination, these athletes have proven themselves state champions and serve as a positive role model for area youth. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Florence, South Carolina commends this athletic accomplishment and congratulates the Florence All-Star Football League 12U team for winning the South Carolina Athletics Program State Championship. Resolved this 12th day of January 2025.
Council-
2026, sorry.
Council, just for the record, I want to make sure this was co-sponsored by also Councilman Smith. So let's give them a hand. Could we get the 12U to come up with the coaches, please? And well, all of us. Yeah. Oh. Strut your stuff. Tall people in the back. People, we got. Come on around. Y'all come on around. Tall people in the back. Y'all move on around a little bit. Come on down a little bit. Right here to this corner. Come on all the way down. That's it. That's it.
Don't get used to very often. It's very in the front. It don't. I don't use it as often. I kind of forget about it. Yeah. I'm being.
As team mom of this team, it's just truly been a pleasure. These boys, the coaches have been phenomenal. They really poured a lot into the team. The parents really showed up and showed out. The players put their all into every game, and they really just pulled together. every time we had a game, they gave their all. And I just want to thank everybody for all of their hard work. And we truly were, we became a family. So just thank you everybody for all that you did. And thank you for the recognition.
They were waiting for the check.
It should have been something like this.
NIL deal.
Look at that big old trophy. I love it.
We'll give them just a few minutes to clear out.
Look at my pass. I didn't even know that was on.
Well, I mean, they cleared out too. We've got a lot of room to sit down now. Yes. Keep winning.
Sit down. That's amazing.
So
I didn't
next,
know that was her.
thank you so much, Council. Next we have on the agenda is the resolution number 2026-04. This is a resolution of recognition for Thomas Mitchell for his contributions to the city of Florence. What say ye, Council?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Amanda.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Resolution number 2026-04 is sponsored by Councilwoman Neesmith Jackson, a resolution of recognition for Thomas Mitchell and his contributions to the city of Florence. Whereas Thomas Mitchell is a Florence native who has demonstrated a deep and enduring commitment to his hometown through entrepreneurship, investment, and community engagement. And whereas Mr. Mitchell has been a business owner in the city of Florence for more than 15 years, contributing to the local economy through job creation, business development, and sustained investment in the community. And whereas Mr. Mitchell began his entrepreneurial journey in Florence as the owner of City Grill, establishing a successful local restaurant that served residents and visitors and strengthened the city's dining and hospitality landscape. And whereas in 2018, Mr. Mitchell expanded his impact on downtown Florence by opening Jazz on Dargan, a restaurant and live jazz venue that became a cultural destination and cherished gathering place within the city's downtown district. And whereas Jazz on Dargan has played a significant role in the cultural and economic vitality of downtown Florence by supporting live music, local artists, and creating a welcoming space that fostered community connection and celebration of the arts. And whereas as Jazz on Dargan concludes its operation, the City of Florence recognizes the deep appreciation and support expressed by the community and acknowledges the lasting legacy the establishment leaves on downtown Florence. And whereas Mr. Mitchell's vision, leadership, and investment exemplify the positive impact that locally owned businesses can have on the identity, spirit, and vibrancy of the City of Florence. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Florence, South Carolina does hereby honor and commend Mr. Thomas Mitchell for his outstanding contributions to the City of Florence and for the meaningful cultural and economic impact of his businesses, including the lasting influence of Jazz on Dargan within the community. Resolve this the dates on this is wrong. I apologize. Resolve this 12th day of January 2026.
This resolution is sponsored by Councilwoman Neesmith Jackson. Mr. Thomas Mitchell, could you please come forward? And anybody you want to bring.
You got to.
And let me just say, Tommy, thank you so very much for everything that you brought, everything that you've done to our downtown. You will be greatly missed. We're scrambling right now, trying to figure out what's going to happen. And provided a safe place for all of us, and we hate to see you go. Thank you, Tommy.
I really appreciate it.
Tommy, give me 1 minute. Stay right there. I did not do it. We did not do a vote, they said. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Now, it's official.
All right. I really just want to appreciate everybody. Appreciate Ms. Jackson for bringing this resolution. Probably a little nervous up here now. Y'all bear with me. It's been a good journey, a long journey. Appreciate the mayor. Appreciate everybody on city council. I know each one of y'all probably been in there a time or two. So y'all help us build as we help y'all build.
Yes.
I really want to thank my family, my wife, who the one who endured all this.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I have my 90-year-old mother here, and she's in there probably just as much as I am. I really, really appreciate that. My sister, my nephew, and all of my customers, friends. I really appreciate y'all. I seen Patsy and Perry in here somewhere. They've been with me from day one, and I really, really, really appreciate everybody. It's going to be a tough day, but we're moving forward.
That's right.
And I really appreciate everybody, what everybody did.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank y'all.
All right. We will now move to ordinance in position. Bill number 2025-43. It's a second reading. An ordinance to amend section 14-21, section 14-22. Give them a moment. What I need,
Let him do his report before housing.
yes, okay. Well, let me just say this. We have an addendum for executive session, and that will be discussed. It's a matter discussing regarding personal matters. Council, if that's all right, we will add this to executive session. And I will also move up before.
Madam Mayor, I just want to note that item was already included in the published agenda from Friday. So it was published in time to be considered as
So
part
we
of
don't
today's
have
agenda
to,
without any
thank
further
you,
amendments.
thank you so much. And Scotty, that we will do the city manager's report before the housing studies report, okay? That's all right? All right. No objection, great. So we're back at ordinance number 2025-43, second reading, an ordinance to amend section 14-21 and section 14-22 and section 14-23 of the City of Florence Municipal Code regarding provisions related to regulating the curfew for juveniles and other matters there related thereto. What say ye?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. We will move to city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. As you've seen, we have a number of talented individuals, but I'd like to talk about one today. Our procurement agent is Linwood Fitzgerald Givens. Mr. Givens has been with the city about 25 years now. and he's with the Masons, and has 33 years of dedicated experience with the Freemasonry, including achieving the honor of 33rd degree Mason. He served as past Master of St. Luke Lodge number 171 and in leadership roles in the York Rite, Scottish Rite, and Shrine, embodying the principles of brotherly love, relief, and truth. He was recently selected as the Grand Master of the Prince Hall Lodge of South Carolina, reflecting his leadership, integrity, and unwavering commitment to the craft. The Masons of the Prince Hall Grand Lodge of South Carolina has over 8,000 members. Their principles focus on building character and community uplift and emphasize integrity, friendship, respect, character, and brotherly love. I'd also like to announce that Mr. Givens has made clear that he will have all of their meetings in Florence, South Carolina, so we're glad of that. As procurement agent, he's certainly looking out for the city of Florence. So please join me in congratulating him for being the leader of that wonderful organization. I also like to announce, I'm excited to announce that Mayor Barnes has been selected by the Raleigh Center for Livable Communities at the College of Charleston to participate in the 8th class of the Raleigh Mayor's Design Fellowship. The 2026 Raleigh Mayor's Design Fellowship has 6 mayors throughout the state of South Carolina. Mayors were selected from a competitive group of nominees based on demonstrated visionary leadership and the quality of an idea for a physical project to improve community character and drive development. The Raleigh Mayor's Design Fellowship is a partnership between the Raleigh Center for Livable Communities at the College of Charleston, Clemson University's Master of Resilient Urban Design, and SC Arts Commission and the Municipal Association of South Carolina. The program equips South Carolina mayors with the tools necessary to implement projects that positively impact the built and or natural environment in their communities. Congratulations, Mayor Barnes.
Thank you.
That completes my report.
Thank you so much. Boards and commissions will be moved to executive session. And so now we will have the Bowen National Report on Housing Study.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to pull a switch here. Get the PowerPoint pulled up. And as
Technology? Oh.
Yep, that's how it is.
We got so much good news, it's just blowing
I know,
up
we've
the
got
computer.
we've got so much to go over here. It's locking up the system. Yeah, it won't let me.
Hey, what time is it?
Well, I tell you what, while you get that ready, I'll do my mayor's report because I don't have much. I will say this council and staff went to Georgetown on last week, and we really are pumped up, fired up, and we're ready to go for 2026. 2025 was a great year for us. There are a lot of things that we overcame that many don't know, and for the hard work that this council and this staff has done. I truly want to say thank you for what we did last week with the, was that last week or last week for our budget retreat. This year is really looking promising, and I am super excited about that. So wanted to thank you about that. One other thing I wanted to say, I often get letters from people. I get letters from little kids saying, save the trees. I get letters. I even get people, little kids writing me letters about Santa Claus. I'm supposed to tell Santa Claus what they want. But I got this card, and I wanted to read it to you. And it said, Dear Mayor Barnes, I am a 34-year-old veteran, retired, arriving, living, I don't even know what that is, to Florence to help come from Florida to help my granddaughter in here. We stopped in Florence to rest. This morning, I found your memorial park, and I was stunned. I moved 25 times in my career, cross country, visiting dozens of memorial parks and other places. I never expected such a thorough, large, respectful, and honoring site here in Florence. But there it is. Even my beloved Coast Guards get its due, as did they are often neglected merchant Marines. Please thank all who established and maintained this outstanding memorial park. Many blessings to you and the city of Florence through the new years. Yours sincerely, Joe Hester, Captain USS Retire. So wanted to, I'm sorry I couldn't make out some of the writing, but I was really, really moved, and I know you would like to hear about our Memorial Stadium and how our visitors are enjoying such a beautiful site. So we're ready now?
We're good.
We're ready. All right, Jerry, let's
go.
go.
Reset and we've got it.
All right.
All right, well, I did want to introduce Patrick with Bowen National Research. As you know, we started the housing study about mid-year last year, and we hired Patrick's company, Bowen National Research, and it became very apparent during the interview process that he was the man for this. He's definitely passionate about housing in America. He's worked all over the Southeast, the Midwest, and various other areas throughout his 30-year career in conducting housing studies and market studies. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to Patrick. His company is headquartered in Columbus, Ohio, but as I said, he does a bulk of his work throughout the Southeast.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. With everybody being acknowledged and resolutions, I hope that when I'm done, if it's good enough news, I can get some acknowledgement from you all. But
you're the only one that's probably going to get a check.
I've already been paid. So, but I'm here. And Jerry introduced me. I'm going to try to make this quick because I know you guys had a bit of a busy schedule here today. But Jerry mentioned that I'm very passionate about this, and that may have come across in the interview. I don't share this typically, but I'm going to share this with you all since we're now good friends. Housing matters, and I understand that in local government, you've got a lot of priorities, and but you have limitations in your budgets. But housing makes a difference, and I'll use myself as an example because when I graduated from college, 1992, we were in a national recession. It was tough to get a job. I got married, had a kid, and struggled in life. And so while I had a lot of breaks in life and I worked really hard, one of the things that gave me a break was affordable housing. That I was able to get into a low-income tax credit project And from that moment on, I think that was the first break of many, but it really launched me into this path that's got me here in front of you today. So again, I don't have an agenda. I'm going to show you that you do have a lot of needs. You do have a lot of opportunities, which is probably one of the key words we want to take away from this. But just understand, the face of affordable housing, there are stereotypes. And some of that may be true, but some of that also is just perception. And so as a gentleman standing here in front of you, I'm evidence that housing matters and it can make a difference in somebody's life. All right, so let me get started. All right, so we had a pretty comprehensive scope of work. I'll talk about the study areas here in just a second, but we looked at a lot of demographics, economic, obviously housing information. We looked at your community services, special needs populations. I'll talk a little bit about them. We looked at what we call development opportunities, meaning sites. So we looked at sites. What sites do you have? That could matter, obviously. We looked at development costs, regulatory barriers. We looked at identifying potential developers, investors, other development partners that might be able to help be part of the solution. Looked at different housing programs, and then we did a survey of residents and commuters, and then stakeholders. So some of you may have participated in that stakeholder survey. So I'll hit some of the highlights of that as well. Then I'll close this out with the rental and for sale housing gap. So I do both, and then I showed at different affordability levels. So you'll see where's the greatest need, both in the rental and for sale side, but at different price points and levels of affordability. All right. Did I skip one? Nope. So these are the market areas. Again, I'll just have you focusing on the right-hand side. What we were asked to do, your boundaries of the city are unusual, right? You've got this almost spider-looking city limits. So what I was asked to do was to use these cleaner cut areas, and we cut this, and it's, again, the map on the right-hand side, cut the city up into 5 submarkets, but extended it out beyond the city limits. So as I talk about the city itself, keep in mind, I'll use this reference. You see on the upper left-hand side, PSA. That's primary study area. That's the focus of this, what I'm going to talk about here today. And so it's the city plus some of the areas that surround it. I also will talk about SSA, meaning secondary study area. That's basically the rest of the county. So you can understand how the city and its immediate area relates to the rest of the county. PSA and SSA. You'll see that in some of these graphs and tables. Just real quick, because I'm going to really cover households, but I want to show you population information. So those that don't have a high school diploma, that's very close to the state average. All these are very close to the state average. College degree. We had the pastor talk about the importance of marriage. You've got 52% of the people that are unmarried here, and that does matter for housing because a lot of times when you do have married people, there are couples and they might be dual incomes, so that affects housing. Poverty rate, minority share. So just wanted to kind of give you a quick overview of these things you probably feel and know. But this is what I'm going to focus in on, and that's households. So what a household is basically people living in a unit, whether it's a single person living by themselves, a 5-person family, married couple, roommates, whatever it is, that's a household. And so I use households on these subsequent slides I'm going to show you. These drive the housing needs. And so this is your household growth from 2010, projected up to 2030. You've had some very good growth. And from that 2025 to 2030 period, you're going to add about 500 new households. So I did a staff presentation this morning, and one of the things I'd said to them, I can study the needs of the entire country, of every county across the country. If I just did household growth, I could do that in 10 minutes. I could just run the numbers and just give you the numbers. Housing needs are much more than that. So yes, household growth matters, and so I did factor this in. You are going to need at least 500 new units over the next 5 years to meet up with the growing need, but you have other needs and other things that drive housing challenges for your community. So I'll share those with you. So your actual needs numbers, your housing needs will be much bigger than 500. This is showing you how each one of the submarkets is growing. I marked those in the green box over the last 5 years, and then showed you where it's projected to change from 2025 up to 2030. And you can see in terms of the submarkets, it's South Florence and West Florence is where all the growth has been and is expected to occur. And even though downtown Florence and North Florence don't have any growth or projected growth, it does not mean there's not a need, that there's not opportunities. There are. And so I'll show you why that's the case. But nonetheless, you have growth in some of these areas. There's certainly going to be a need for additional housing. This is households by age. After the presentation this morning, one of the staff members mentioned to me that this was stunning to them, and the fact that the households age 75 and older was showing such growth. So the dark blue is the PSA. Again, that's the city of Florence and that immediate area. SSA is the rest of the county. And you can see for the city, again, I'll just call it the city, the PSA, that is the households between ages 35 and 44. You'll see some growth, but it's the seniors, age 75 and older, where you're going to see the big change. And so as you think as a community, how do we plan for the future? Certainly housing that meets the needs of your aging population, or aging households in this case, is going to matter. How about renter households by income? Again, projected over 5 years. The city itself and its surrounding area versus the rest of the county. Comparing those two together, where's the growth? It's in those households that make about $50,000 or more a year. So one, you're going to need additional housing for those folks. But one of the things I caution folks is you see the declines for those that make less than $50,000 a year. That does not mean you don't need affordable rental housing. You do. And I'll show you the reasons why behind that, but I just want people not to take that and say, okay, we need to stop affordable housing. We don't need it because we don't have growth. It's not that simple. So you do need housing. I'll show you what's available to the folks, lower income households, and some of the housing challenges that they face. But nonetheless, you've got all this positive growth. You're going to need additional housing for some of the moderate to higher price rentals. And here's owner occupied housing, again, over 5 years. City versus rest of the county, where's all your growth? It's all projected of those that make over $100,000 a year. So a lot of good opportunities to do some nicer, higher end for sale housing here, but it doesn't mean you don't need entry level homes and moderately priced homes, but certainly for higher income households, you'll need housing for them. All right, so this is an example. Now I'm going to show you substandard housing. These are federal definitions I'm going to share with you. One is overcrowded housing. Believe it or not, you've got folks that are more people living in a unit that they're designed for. And if we just focus in on that peach line going across, that's the Florence study area, that PSA I was talking about. You have 704 renters and 330 owner households that are living in overcrowded housing. So you have over 1,000 of these units, people living in units that probably are not designed to meet their needs. And then on the right-hand side, it's units that lack complete plumbing or kitchen facilities. Believe it or not, we have that in the United States, and you have it right here in Florence. The numbers are much smaller, but you have 291 renters and 113 homeowners. And so this gets to quality. Again, these people are housed. So does that matter to the community? Is this satisfactory? And if it is, then this isn't part of your needs. We do quantify that because we do think this needs to be addressed. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to build new housing to solve it. That could. But that also could be, let's just renovate some of these homes that we've got people living in, or at least do something better to help them live in good quality housing. So notable number of people living in what we call substandard housing, 1,400, over 1,400 total. Here's another one. This is housing cost burden. So what do people, how much of their income do they put towards housing? Two definitions, I put them at the bottom. Again, these are federal definitions. Housing cost burden households, those are people that pay over 30% of their income towards their housing cost. You've got about 9,600 households living in that type of housing. But it's the other one, that kind of mustardy orange or yellow color, severe cost burden. Those are people that pay over half of their income towards their housing cost. That is substantial, and that is a severe challenge for folks. So again, they're housed. Is that adequately housed? And I'll say this to you all, I know you have a lot of priorities, you have limited resources to put towards some of this stuff, but housing is an economic issue. And if you think about it, you got 4,400, almost 4,500 households that are severe cost burden households. The more they put towards housing costs, the less they got to spend at your stores, your retailers, your restaurants, and things like that. So this absolutely is an economic issue for this community. And these are people that are struggling, particularly those that pay over half their income towards housing costs. That's so much less money that they have available to spend towards health care, transportation, other essentials. So a significant challenge for a lot of people, and we do account for these when we do our housing gap estimates. I want to share this real fast. You probably sense some of this. You probably don't know how big the number is. The map on the left-hand side shows you got about 32,000 people that commute into this city. This is truly the city limits. 32,000 people that commute into this city every day for work. 32,000. I put on the right-hand side, then boxed in red, who are they in terms of age groups? So most of them are in that 30 to 54. Most of them make over $3,300 a month, so about $40,000 a year or more. So these are not low. So you do have some lower income households or people that commute in, but a lot of these make pretty good income. Again, one of the things I try to tie this to make people understand is, you have 32,000 of these people that come in here. They come in here to work every day. Maybe they buy lunch here, maybe they get gas or whatever, run some basic errands, but most of that income they take it back out. They're taking it somewhere else. It could be somewhere else in the county, but some of these people are going well outside the county. In fact, I put on the upper left-hand side there of that map, you have about 9,900 people that commute in here. They're traveling over 50 miles a day. So they're traveling a long distance, and I can tell you just from experience, while we didn't survey your employers, which we can do, we've heard from employers that is one of the worst challenges they have, because they've got these people that travel long distance. At some point, some of these people are not those people that make $3,300. They're the ones that make something much lower. They can't sustain this, right? The transportation cost alone is such a burden. So it's a major challenge, not just to them, but then that affects your employers too, right? Because then the employers are having I got to replace them. I got to keep replacing them, and that's been a big challenge across the country. So I wanted to share this with you because I think it's an important part of the story, because these are also people that could become your residents at some point if you had the housing available to them and it was affordable to them. And I'll show you in a moment. You don't have much for them to
Can I
choose
ask you
from.
a quick question on that one?
Yeah.
On that last one, that's pretty typical of the region, is it not? That many, obviously, you want that tax leakage we're losing by them driving out and spending their money outside of the city. But isn't that pretty typical?
It can,
of
yes.
our region, especially with drive times. I mean, 50-mile radius is 50 minutes away in our area, which obviously is different in other states. But.
Yeah, partially correct. Yeah, so yes, you have a lot of people commuting in. Most cities of your size, yes, more of their workforce, in your case, it's probably about 80%, are coming from somewhere else. They're not local. So that's correct. Where you're a little bit different is that, again, that box in the upper left-hand side, I put that 9,900, you have about 25%. That's 25% of the people that are commuting in. That's high, that travel over 50 miles. So yes, you have a lot of people coming in. That's normal. The distance is abnormal, how far people come. So a little bit different. Okay.
Thank you.
Good question. All right, so let's get into the supply. Can people move here? What do you have? This is apartment properties. So this is multifamily apartments. This is where my staff actually called and talked to property managers, actually visited a lot of these properties, over 4,000 units, 149 are vacant. Where are those vacancies, though, in that column of total vacant? I broke these out by market rate, meaning just unrestricted. Landlords can charge what they want. But then you have tax credit housing and government subsidized, so those are more affordable rentals. Especially if you go down the table, it becomes more affordable. You can see you have very few units available, 13 total among all those government subsidized, and tax credit units, probably 800, almost 900 units, you have 13 available. So not very many of those available. That's a challenge for the community, right? That's the bulk of the workforce. I'm going to show you in a few minutes what the workforce earns, the bulk of the workforce, and what they can afford. So keep these vacancy rates in mind as I show you this. Again, affordable stuff, not much available, and even some good wait list, large wait list. The other thing I want to mention quick is on the bottom right-hand side of that, in that red box, I put 3.7% for vacancy rate. What do you want that to be? Right? For a healthy market, you want that to be about 4 or 6. You want vacancies. You need vacancies so people can move around. People can move into this area. Your families' lives change. They need to move out, get your millennial out of your apartment and into somewhere else. So you want some vacancy. So you're a little bit below where you need to be, but definitely among those affordable housing options. This just shows you those vacancy rates by each one of the submarkets. And then again, I put in red anything that was under 1% in terms of those market rate tax credit or government subsidized by these submarkets. So a lot of zeros showing up there for the affordable stuff. So this isn't really concentrated in one part of the town. You really have a citywide vacancy challenge. You don't have very many vacant units. And then I want to share with you rents. And all I'm going to ask you to do is keep these rents in mind when I show you the workforce in just a few minutes in terms of what they can afford. And I'll just point to the Florence study area, the peach colored row. So anywhere from $962 up to $1,385 are your rents, with most of those being over $1,100. So keep in mind, over $1,100 is kind of a typical multifamily rental. You got to make about $44,000 a year. A lot of your renters do not make $44,000 a year. All right, so if you can't rent an apartment, what else can you rent? We call these non-conventional rentals. So I put in the very top there in parentheses, these would be houses, duplexes, mobile homes, a unit over. Anything that's not an apartment, it's a non-conventional rental. This makes up about 2/3 of your rental stock. What you see in this table, the top half is the PSA, the city area, and then the bottom half is the rest of the county. These are what's vacant. So my staff's very, very good at trying to find these. You have about 167 of these available. If I compare that to all the non-conventional rentals, I put in a vacancy rate of 2.2% in the red number there. Again, you want to be 4 to 6. You see a theme here. It's yes, sir.
We just changed
the accessory dwelling ordinance, correct, City Manager?
That's correct.
Would the impacts of that change be reflected in this report? And if not, how many units did we think that would impact by adding those back? Because that would mostly be the studio and the one bedroom.
Well, I'll answer the first part. I don't know when that got changed. This survey would have been August, September.
Yeah, so that would have been prior to that change. Do we know how many units that added back by changing that ordinance?
I'm not sure.
Very, very few at this point. I think we probably had, less than 10 at this point come through our office for approval. So yeah. But more will trickle in.
Do we know how many units possibly it would add back? And maybe is it a lack of just getting the word out?
It could be some marketing that we would need to do to get some of those back in use. Yeah.
Right. Something that we could maybe send out in a water bill or something like that, because 2 studios, one in the bedrooms, we're squeezing out the Airbnbs, you know, and but we are. If they're 28 days and better, they can do that. But some people, you know, that could change, you know, how they want to do that in terms of profitability. But I'm just wondering if that had any potential, if there's any potential impact that could have, because that's when we did that. You know, everyone said if we make these changes, that we're going to remove a lot of these accessory dwellings, and to have only 2 studios and 7 one-bedrooms is a direct impact of changes we made into UDO. You know, that eliminated those, and now we're making changes to bring them back. But it changed the market. It made the prices go up. You know, there was a lot of direct impacts to that. Do we know it? You know what the inventory could be out there that could change? Have any idea?
Not really, and it's pretty hard to tell. Our very first zoning ordinance back in 2008 did not permit it. So we've had a lot of those kind of flying under the radar and not really being advertised because they weren't permitted. That's typically found in more of our historic neighborhoods in the Maple Park, Timrod Park, East Florence, you know, in all those older type neighborhoods that have that kind of infrastructure already in place with some of their detached garages. So I think we anticipate that starting to occur more and more as new construction happens, but we really don't know what kind of impact that's going to have.
Or is there anything more that we can do to encourage it? Because we do a lot to discourage it, but this is mother-in-law suites. This is where family members live, college students live, and I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, we got 3,000 houses in permitting, or 3,000 units in permitting. How many of those are studio and one bedrooms?
Very few.
Right. I mean, you're just not going to. Developers aren't doing studios and one bedrooms, and it just seems like we have a huge gap in that. And the only thing that we can really do is to encourage people to apply to get out from underneath the radar because they've been scared, and to loosen up some things where someone can put a house in their backyard in a neighborhood for a family member or someone like that to live. Because those aren't going to be built.
Is that part of the rental registry?
They would.
Okay. My question is about the rental registry, if they'd have to.
Oh Lord.
So.
You could have said anything but that.
But I was wondering, for my own knowledge, if somebody had an ADU, does that have to go to that rental registry? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, and they'd have to get this.
So again, these are just what's available. You may have, obviously many more studios. Some of those may be ADUs, but the whole point of this is you don't have very many available. Again, I put 2.2% vacant. Down for the rest of the county, it's 0.3%. The other thing I want to point out to you is just look at the rental rates. Particularly what's the largest. You get 3 bedrooms is the most that you have for within the city here. $1,625 for rent. So those are pretty healthy rents. These are higher than most of those apartments. So if somebody's trying to find an apartment, there's not too many choices. I'm on limited income. I really don't have much to pick from in terms of availability. Let me go to somewhere else. You have non-conventional rentals. Again, proportionally, there's not a lot of these available, but the rents are much higher. So this isn't necessarily a solution for some of the more modest income renter households.
Are you going to show a slide that's going to show the 6% tax burden on rentals and what portion of that monthly rent is due in large part to the state's mandate of 6% on commercial and 4%? Because for most of those units, a $100,000 house, you might pay on your personal residence maybe $1,200. If you got a rental unit, you're going to pay $36. And so, you know, people quite often they'll say, right now, you know, $1,300 is a lot per month. Yeah, well, it takes 3 months to pay the taxes.
Gotcha.
A lot of cases, 4 to 5. Yeah. You know, so for our argument, when we're talking to the state, you know, that needs to be part of it. Is that they have through taxes, and our renters are paying for our schools and for our taxes. And that's a big portion of that. Quite often, we want to ding the developers, we want to ding the landlords, we want to ding the property owners, but the biggest impact is our state tax code and the burden being placed on non-owner occupied dwellings.
Sure. Yeah, because they'd be passing it on to the renters in this case, right?
Where else are they going to pass it?
Yep. All right, how about home sales? This is historical home sales 2021 to 2025. The blue bar represents how many homes were sold each year. And this is just for the Florence study area. And then the median sales price that I show on there starting at $200,000 and going up to $253,000. So you can see we're in 2022, 2023, things kind of leveled off, definitely leveled off on prices, but even the volume of homes that were sold. And then, you know, that's right when home mortgage interest rates kicked in, kind of did their thing, slowed things down for a bit, but now you can see your home prices are going back up, $53,000 over the last 5 years. How about what's available? So we have 198 homes that we found available. This would have been, I'm going to cheat for 1 second. I don't have it there. I think this was August of last summer, so kind of near the peak of when you might have available units. June, July, August is usually when that happens. 198 homes available. If I compare that to all the owner-occupied housing, I put in that dark print there. That comes back with an availability rate of 0.9%. Just like apartments, you want to have a certain range, and I put in parentheses there, you want to be about 2 to 3%. You want to have some vacancy so people can, again, move around and you can attract people from outside the area. You are well below where you need to be, and it's even more pronounced in the surrounding parts of the county at 0.5% availability rate. So here's what you have available by different price points. $199 and lower is where the largest number is. This is a little different than we see in other markets. A lot of markets around the country, it's flipped, and they're building everything over $300,000, and that's where all the available inventory is. Here, that's not the case. The fact that you do have a lot of homes priced under $200,000 and even between the $200,000 and $300,000 range, there's a reason for that. And part of that has to do with the age. So this is the age of the product. Again, each one of the submarkets, but we can focus in on that peach line going across. This is 1970 or earlier than 1970 is I marked in that red box. And so you can see about a third of your homes that are available to purchase were fairly old homes, well over 50 years. When I looked at individual listings, you know, a lot of them are 60, 70, 80 years old. Now, it's not universally true that the older a home is, then it's the worse condition, and so it should have a lower price. But many homes, it's lower, it's older home, it's lower price for a reason. And so somebody may on the surface go, well, we have 64 homes in the area that are priced under $200,000. I'm sorry, the pre-1970 stuff. I can afford it. It's under $200,000. There's probably additional cost, right, for weatherization, just repairs, fixing the roof, plumbing, electrical, other things like that. So on the surface, it looks affordable, but there's other costs that go in with that. But nonetheless, that plays part of the role in terms of what you have that is affordable. And then this just shows you each one of the submarkets compared to each other. And so I'll just zero you in on that availability rate and slash MSI. I'll talk about what MSI is in a second. Again, availability rate, I just talked about that. The city's got it 0.9% in terms of what's available. But you can see everybody, with the exception of downtown Florence, which is at 2.1. Remember, I said you want to be about 2 to 3%. So Florence is right on that bottom edge. But really, this is a citywide problem. It's not like one part of the city's got a lot of inventory available. This is citywide in terms of the challenges that you face in terms of availability. The MSI is months of supply of inventory. It's what realtors use. And so if you take that 198 homes in the city that's available and you don't add another home, another one does not get built, the mayor doesn't put her house on the market for sale, so nobody puts another house, how fast are those 198 units going to be sold before they're gone? So how many months at your normal rate that you sell homes? For the city, it's 2.3 months. You normally, from the realtor's world, that's about, you want 4 to 7 months, 4 to 6 months of inventory. So you can see, go up that table, downtown Florence and North Florence have right on that bottom edge of that 4 to 6 months of inventory, but everybody else is well below that. So it doesn't matter how I cut it up. The message is you don't have much available. We also looked at senior care facilities, independent living, assisted living, nursing homes. Just in the red box, I show you what your occupancy rates are compared to, if you look just to the right, that is what's normal for the national average. And so the point of this, you are either at or above where you should be in terms of occupancy, but you have so much growth. Remember that one slide I showed you, the households age 75 and older, that's where all your growth is. And so this is a segment that I certainly would be looking out for, whether it's apartments or condos or something for seniors or any of these senior care facilities. I think it's going to be something that this community needs and certainly be a good development opportunity for a developer. All right, if you don't remember anything I tell you, all right, and I understand you got a lot of stuff I've thrown at you plus other things that are coming at you, this is the one I'd ask you to just to kind of focus in on. So this is your top 35 occupations. I couldn't fit them all on one slide, so I just did this as a sample. It's about half of them. So these are not cherry picked by us. These are just, again, these are the occupations that make up the most occupations in your area, most employed people. And so we'll do retail salesperson, I marked in red. So the annual wages typically is about $22,000 for those that are at the bottom quarter, and then at the median level, the midpoint, so either 22 to about 28,000. You could say that's kind of typical for a retail salesperson. What can they afford in rent? Anywhere from $566 to $720. I showed you those rents before, where most of your rentals, whether they were the apartments or those non-conventional rentals, the houses and so forth, everything was over $1,100. Now, I will caution folks too, though, this is one wage earner, okay? And a lot of households do have 2 wage earners, or maybe sometimes 3. But the point is, you better have a second wage earner. You better have some other source of income. It's going to be really tough for you to afford to work here, work and live here. Same thing for home ownership. You can see at the lower quartile, about $75,000. At the median, about $95,000. Yes, you have some homes priced under $200,000, but most of it, if you took the rest of them, most of your homes are priced over $200,000. So you can see where that would be a challenge for your workforce to get into home ownership. Again, if you doubled it, you might make it, triple it, you're in better chance of getting it. But a lot of these folks don't have that kind of additional income or a person earning money to help out. So the affordability of housing and how it impacts your workforce, I hope comes across through this study and this presentation. All right, the last few things I just want to go really fast through because I know I've taken up a lot of your time. We looked at 62 properties, or found 62 properties that are potential sites. Not all of these will ultimately be viable, but the point is you do have sites that represent development opportunities for developers to come in here and do something. And so we do list all those properties, what their zoning is, the acreage, all that kind of stuff. If it were me and I was promoting this area for opportunities, this would be one of the things I would want to make sure I get out to the development and investment community. Another thing we were asked to look at is development costs. I try to make this as simple as I can. There's a lot of stuff in our study that we cover this. But in the end, we looked at these, roughly 8 categories that affect development cost. I put an X in there on the left-hand side if you are at a disadvantage compared to, I think we looked at 12 other communities in the region. If it's a check mark, you are in a good spot or actually in a competitive advantage. So you can see the only thing that you're really out of line with is land cost. So for everything else that's tied to the local government, you guys are doing it. You're in line. You've made this community competitive with the region. It's the land cost, and certainly that does affect what developers are ultimately going to charge in rentals or home prices because land prices are just too high.
Again, with that, you factor in another thing that that we're impeded by is the fact that we have what's called clawbacks. I don't know if that's the right term, but basically if a developer buys a piece of farmland and then converts it into a housing development, then they got to go back 3 years and pay taxes on that farmland as if it were a housing development. Does that factor into the land cost decision? So the land cost is
It's truly just whatever is sold.
excess minus that. Not even counting that. We're
Correct.
already high, not even counting that.
Correct.
Which is a huge impact on our development, because landowners, they're not looking to, if it's farmland, they're going to pay farmland taxes. But the fact that we have to go back 3 years and pay taxes as a new development also impedes affordability for the local municipalities.
So how much more do you have to? I don't want to rush you, but
I'm going to go fast. I promise. I don't know. I don't.
no, someone has a question, but I wanted them to kind of get the study out, and then we could ask them questions if that's so.
Less than 10 minutes?
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe even faster. Okay, so this is other. We're done with questions?
No.
Okay. So these are other things we looked at. I won't go through them because, again, this would take up time. We looked at community services, so where are your shopping, employment opportunities, things like that would affect housing. We looked at special needs populations. I listed those and how big those are. We go into the study and talk about what housing is available to those groups. We identified over 75 development partners, so there's people out there that could be part of the solution. We identified those. Different programs, whether it's federal, state, or regional stuff, over 70 of those were identified. And then we did look at your regulatory provisions in place, and really you don't have anything in there that was so overbearing that we felt like, okay, this is holding back this community. So again, your zoning and things like that didn't seem to warrant any concern. These are stakeholder and resident survey results, just the highlights of those. The quick takeaway is it's affordability, availability, things I've already shared with you. Well, these groups that we surveyed are saying the same thing. What kind of housing is needed? I cited them, both of them. It's more affordable rentals and more affordable for-sale housing. For the stakeholders, probably the things to cite on there is the development barriers. What were the stakeholders telling us? It's infrastructure cost and development cost were challenges for them. And then for the residents and commuters, again, negative market issues. It just gets back to common stuff. It's high prices, rents, mismatch of wages and housing costs and things like that. So nothing surprising that came out of this. Is pretty consistent with what we see in other communities. And really reinforced a lot of the data points that we had. Okay, just a couple slides left here. This is housing gap estimate. So this is the takeaway. In the end, how many rental units could be needed over this next 5-year period, and how many for sale housing units. So total is almost 6,000, 6,016. The thing I got to stress, and it's the text at the bottom there, is this does not mean you have to build 6,000 units, because it'd be tough to do that. It doesn't mean you build 6,000 units and you're going to solve all your housing issues. Some of this is new construction. Some of this is repair and preserving the existing housing stock. Some of this is assisting those people that are having financial challenges. Some of this is accounting for those commuters that are going to come into the area. But nonetheless, you can see where we broke it out by different affordability levels, lower income households, and corresponding lower rents, lower home prices on the left. And as you move over to the right, it goes to the higher priced homes and rentals. So for rentals, it's more affordable stuff. For the home sales stuff, for sale housing, it's a moderate to higher priced housing. And then we just had about, 6, 7 recommendations in here. You have a lot of data in here, so you can set priorities now. You have something more substantial to look at, to set goals. While we didn't study annexation, it's clear just the way the city is kind of broken up and spread out. There's good data in this study now. I think I read your comprehensive plan or something. It was talking about focusing on areas of growth. You now have which submarkets grow, how much they're going to grow, so you could strategically figure out if you were to develop a strategic plan for annexation, you would have some numbers to look to and make a good decision off of that. Again, another thing we didn't look at specifically was blight. We do know housing quality is an issue. I shared some of that data, and I drove a lot of this area, and I did see a lot of homes, some of which were boarded up. So you do still, while you've done some good things to address blight and turn some homes around, you still have some work to do, so that can be part of your planning process. You do have a lot of groups that are involved with housing, but I don't know that everybody's working together. So one of the things that unless I'm misinformed, you don't have like a housing coalition, a housing task force, housing committee, and I've seen a lot of communities do well with that. And one of the communities I would point you to, I think it's one of the best examples I've seen, is over in Asheville, North Carolina. They have a really good housing coalition. Now, keep in mind, that is a 4-county regional coalition, but the principle, how that's organized and things like that, I think it's something to look at. But somebody should be spearheading housing efforts. You've got individual groups trying to do something, but I think if the community came together and organized and served as some kind of advisory group to this council, I think you could move the needle. So to me, if I had to pick like a low-hanging fruit, that would be one of the first things I would do, is organize. There's other things you can do. I know that talking with Clint and Jerry a little bit, I think that this might be in the future for the community, and that is looking at basically marketing this area, whether you have a developer day, attracting developers to bring them in. There's really good examples of materials that I've seen other communities put together. So again, I can share that with y'all or these gentlemen to do something like that. We addressed infill lots, even though that wasn't a focus of the study. I think that's something y'all should address. And then certainly there's something you probably could do. Again, your zoning is fine as it is. It leans towards, like every community, it leans towards single family development. But I think if you're trying to really make an impact and move the needle on housing, you really should look at multi-family housing and what can we do, particularly like townhomes and things like that. And that could be condos, it could be for sale stuff, but it could be apartments as well. But I think you could make a dent in housing, because if you just keep kind of going the way you are developing a lot. I think you could do more, and there is a lot of potential. So I would leave you all with that. Look, there are some concerns, but you are no different than everybody else. You really aren't, right? Everybody's facing this. This is a national crisis. So you have the similar challenges, but there are a lot of opportunities here. So the other message that should be going out to the people outside of this area is come to Florence. We have opportunities. We have needs. We have sites. Explore our opportunities. And I think that's it. That's my contact information, and I know I went long, but again, you had some good questions too.
No, you didn't go long. I just didn't want, I didn't want a lot of conversation with you giving us the information. I wanted you to give us the information, and then we talk.
Gotcha.
And so, Councilman McCall wanted to say something, but
Mayor, if I may,
Clint,
I did want to bring up the fact that when we were kind of in the middle of all this with this study, at that time the battery plant had been placed on pause, so obviously we removed that portion from consideration as we work through this. I think we will continue to allow things to progress there, and Patrick's been very generous in saying once there's some more confirmation, we get I guess a better projected timeline. At that time we can update some of these numbers as well.
Great. Okay. Right.
First, thank you, and thank you for the study. This is not. It's like I'm a nerd for things like this, so I wasn't bored at all going through the study. But what I would say is that I think North Charleston did one, and I think they had similar numbers or similar concerns. So therefore, I think the Community Development Committee requested that the same study get done, and because oftentimes what we're hearing was we'll see a multifamily unit come propose to us for a zoning change to get built, and then we'll have this gallery here packed with people saying, no, not in my backyard, or they don't say that. They say, well, traffic concerns or water problems and things of that nature. And they always say we didn't have a need for multifamily units. And so I think this study definitely shows that we definitely need more multifamily units and more options available to people. But literally every time one come up here, packing the overflow room, and they have plenty of concerns. But I want to break it down in a more simpler form, right? A millennial comes to me and say, Quez, I want to live in Florence, but I have more opportunities in Columbia, Greenville, Myrtle Beach, and also it's cheaper to live in Columbia, Greenville, Myrtle Beach. Could you give us a small? You give us there's a lot of data points in there, but can you tell me why is it more expensive or similarly equal? I think we're higher than all of them, but why are we higher in Columbia? Why are we higher in Myrtle Beach? Why are we higher in Greenville? I know you haven't said those areas, but why are costs per unit, apartments, anything, it's just high?
Yeah, I can't speak to those other communities.
Yeah, of course,
study them. Well, I showed you your development costs, right? Everything you all have done, your different fees, your tap fees, your building permit fees, all that stuff is good. It's competitive. It's in line. Sometimes it's even your taxes lower. So those things should lead to lower development costs. But it's those land costs that are higher. So what do you do as a community about that? Because that's not your land, right? You can't control that. But there may be things you can do to at least offset some of that, whether you're lowering some of your fees, whether you're doing something called density bonuses, like, look, if you put some affordable housing into this multifamily apartment project, we'll let you do more units. And that makes that more viable for the developer to do that, even though the land costs were pushing them towards doing higher price rentals. So there are things from the governmental side that you can do to a degree to offset those land costs, but those land costs are proportionally high here. So.
And it's all asked for newer units. We definitely want to take a look at that.
Yeah.
But what about for it now? Like existing units right now, someone's looking to rent or purchase a home now. What are some things that we should be looking at to see? I mean, I don't know if it's possible to lower those prices, keep us competitive with those other cities.
And one of the reasons I think that you're having a problem with affordable rents and even for home prices to some degree was one of the things I showed you. You don't have much available, right? So you do need more inventory to kind of make it more competition to make this so that, okay, developers can't keep raising their prices at these exorbitant amounts. Because one of the things we've seen in common in a lot of markets is it's supply and demand, right? Yeah. And so it's like, look, Patrick Bowen rents this apartment from, he's rented it for this house. Let's take a house, $1,300 or something like that. And he rents this house. He's done it every year. I've hardly raised his rent. But I know Quez is out there because Quez was inquiring about do I have any properties? Does landlord have any properties? I'm going to get rid of Patrick. I want to get Quez in there because I can get $1,500 out of him. It's because, Quez, where are you going to go? Yeah. Right, so there's those things are affecting this market. Again, you're not different than any other place. There is good news in that. I mean, from the development community, they know this is a market that housing is in high demand. So that is a good signal to get out to the development and investment community. But the lack of available inventory is certainly a challenge for you all.
You mentioned land costs. One of the big problems with land costs is density. And we're looking at ways where we could change that. For instance, on 1 acre of land, you might be able to have 2 homes. But you could have 8 mobile homes and you could have 12 tiny homes. Not in the city, of course, but in the county. Are there any municipalities that are changing that? Because, like, for instance, there's an old mobile home park that's contiguous to the city that could be annexed into the city. Now, there's probably like 40 mobile homes there, but we wouldn't be able to put 40 homes there. And whenever we want to talk about density bonuses, we want to talk about multifamily housing. But you don't have to have multifamily housing. You could have tiny homes. You could have you could have single family housing if we would change these density issues that we have in our codes. Is anybody addressing that and changing that? Because the setbacks, the minimum square footage, the minimum lot size, that is why our land cost, a big issue with our land costs as well.
Well, I point back to Asheville because they've done some stuff, but again, it's density bonuses. And it's tiered and it's complicated layers to that
But
thing.
that's what fills up the room is when we talk about multifamily housing. That's what fills up the room. If we were talking about single family, one bedroom, studio, tiny homes, with a yard, we wouldn't have depending on where it was, we might have a room full in some cases, but not in every case. I mean, that is something that we could have. But even new development that we annex in, unless we do a PUD, and we do a, multifaceted facility that has commercial and tiny homes and multifamily and single family in it. Is anybody rewriting their ordinances to address density issues with single family housing that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware
we could
of.
duplicate
Yeah.
or look to
we can research it, but I don't know. Single family, that's a good point. No, I've not seen it.
Next, we have Councilman JaBailey.
Thank you so much for enlightening us and giving us a very detailed report, and I want to thank the Community Development Committee for initiating this and staff for following through on it. Do you have this PowerPoint that you did available where that can be emailed to all of us? Is that something?
They have it, so yes.
Yes, if y'all, if we have the book, but the PowerPoint.
Yeah, they have both. They have both
Yeah.
the report and the PowerPoint.
So we have the report, but the PowerPoint is a more
Yep.
condensed version
Yes, sir.
of that.
Yes, sir.
And appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's very powerful information, a lot for us to quote unquote chew on.
Sure.
As we go forward.
Next, Councilman Chipper Smith.
I know during our budget session, we actually talked just a little bit about housing. And I guess it'd be more of a question for Clint. During that session, we actually got a chartograph. How many houses are actually being permitted or under construction? And what I mean by that, could we break it down for how many developments are multifamily and or single-family homes?
I can give kind of round numbers. We have that data that we've been tracking since 2018, so those are in various stages, either complete, under construction, or under review and permitted. So it's at various different stages. Right now, within our water and sewer utility franchise area, essentially those that we serve, we're 8,700 units, I believe, total since 2018. We've seen, based upon some of the recent work, we really had a very busy 2020, 21, 22, 23 as far as approvals go, and now it's just a lot of seeing those phases being built out. So I would say about half of that we have either just finishing up or proposed, and we'll, again, with some of the economic announcements, people have kind of jumped at hitting pause for a few minutes just to see how things play out. But we have very good data on that, and we suspect that it will start to pick back up, especially now that we have this hard data that we can put out to our development community and to our residential, those that live within the community as well.
Councilman McCall.
One more small. I'm sorry.
You weren't
Well, I just want to thank the Community Development Committee, as far as the mayor and Councilman McCall and the staff, because this has been a major concern, and I know, again, me and Councilman McCall have talked about this because we get the same questions. We're in that same generation, and I think what the city of Florence and the residents need to understand that everyone who lives in Florence wants to move to Florence does not want to live in a single-family home. There's a different type of homes that different cities, and I'll give Charlotte for an example, have taken advantage of getting more population and gaining residents and gaining workforce housing. And that's what we need as far as affordable housing. We also need the workforce housing. Again, my generation, and I won't just say mine, but not everyone wants to live in a single-family home. There's other housing that can be used in the city of Florence for us to gain the workforce, population, and affordable housing that we so desperately need.
Okay, Councilman McCall.
Yeah, and I think he might have said my question. I'm losing my train of thought here, but I know I know you mentioned we need more units, obviously. At what price point? Is there a particular price point it should be at, or?
Yeah, that was in that
In that
table
slide.
where it broke it out for the lowest rents, and then as you kind of go across, it gets higher rents. Same things for home prices. It shows you how many you need at each one of those pricing segments. But for the rentals, it's a little bit more affordable stuff. For the for sale stuff, it's moderate to higher end.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
it's all broken out.
All right, thank you.
Well, we thank you so much. Oh, Councilman Smith.
Yeah, just one more thing, because while we're talking about these problems, I kind of like to think about the solutions. Even with the rising land costs, how can we get the developers to build within that $566, $720 rent that most of those folks can afford?
Right, because it'd be tough for developers to make that work, right? Without, I mean, we could talk for an hour probably about this. The easy answer is there are programs available that make it financially viable for developers to do that. The low-income tax credit program is probably one of the most popular in the country. So that's one of the ways to do it. But you can solve affordable housing by not building affordable housing. One of the ways you do that is build more of this moderate stuff so that some of those people that I would move into this next. I would move into a $225,000 home if you had it, but you don't. So I'm going to stay in this lower priced home. So if you build something that's moderately priced, and the same would be true for rentals, people are going to move up, right? They'll get out and they'll free that housing stock up. So you can solve affordable housing, and that's just a quick answer to that. But there's ways to do it. The good news is. Bad news and good news, right? We got a national housing crisis. The good news is we got a national housing crisis because you have so many communities that you can look at. And so we've studied over 120, but there are tons of communities out there that you can say. And that's why I didn't give you a specific roadmap, because I don't know exactly what you want to do. But I think as this community, that's why I think some kind of committee advising you, a task force advising you, and you go, okay, these are 3 or 4 things we want to explore further. We can get you in contact with those communities, talk to those people that actually implemented some of this stuff.
So we thank you so much, and to address some of those things, I just wanted to give Scotty just a few minutes of all of the things that we are doing to drive down costs, because tariffs, all of these things that are out there, land costs, the city does have several programs where we are working diligently. Can you just throw it out there and then we can move on?
Certainly, Mayor. As you're aware, Council set aside funding in each of the last several budget years for housing. That money is used for down payment assistance, is used to purchase and acquire land. We are also demolishing properties so that we can build new units. We've created the nonprofit Building Florence Together. We work with builders and developers by providing land and dollars, up to $25,000 down payment assistance for those developers. Working with the community and providing down payment as well. We're building some houses. We've created, in essence, our own housing trust fund. We've started to acquire properties there. We've talked with legislators about having enabling legislation to actually fund a housing trust fund. We're actually buying or getting units, but we don't have the state enabling legislation to actually fund that. And we've been funding through our general fund over the last several years there. We use CDBG dollars, community development block grant dollars there. So there are a number of things that we're doing, as mentioned in the report there, that we need to do. Certainly not enough. Staff and I talked a little bit about it. As bad as some of those numbers are, I think it would be much worse if the city hadn't taken an aggressive approach several years ago to look at these areas, to understand that we do have a housing need in this community, and what can we do, what can this council do to ensure that the least of those can have housing in Florence.
Scott, I've got a question on that. With the down payment assistance, and you might not have this, and I'll have to follow up, but do we know kind of who that's, or how the selection process goes, and more so, and this might be a question for you as well, as we look, I think it's important we also, South Carolina is obviously a retirement state. Low cost of living tends to, invite the retirement age. Obviously, we need that. It's obviously building our tax base, and they do have disposable income to spend. But obviously, as we grow, we need to be growing in that working age. I know Councilman Smith said workforce housing. Is there a way to focus on that? And with our down, and I know loan regulations and whatnot, I'm sure that there's legalities around it to stop us. But trying to grow that workforce age so that we can grow our job base as well, looking at industry and bringing in industry so that we can bring in all ages, but really focusing in on that workforce, that we do have an attraction for the industry.
To answer the question about the selection process, depending on the program, some programs actually have income limits. Our CDBG program, for instance, has an 80% median range, AMI, area median income range on that, so we have to be below that 80%. The other programs we have that we use city dollars, there's no income limit, it's location, so we do work with those individuals. On a monthly basis, we actually meet with bankers. In this room here, we average about 30 people to come in, and the bankers will talk about all those things to get people mortgage ready there. And then it's just first come, first served basis.
Thank
And I'll just make a quick comment. One of the segments that you aren't projected to hold on to is those people that are under age of 35. First off, Florence, you're no different than a lot of communities around the country. What we're seeing around the nation is a lot of those people under age of 35, they're heading to the metro areas, right? They're heading to the bigger cities that have all the opportunities, cultural attractions, certain employment aspects, whatever it might be. So that's not alarming, but I also understand you want to hold on to the young people. So part of that is just make sure you have housing for young persons, young families that they can move into. And right now you don't have a lot of it, except for that for sale product that's under $200,000. You know, again, that comes with some baggage. So anyway, you're not unusual, but you got some work to do. The other thing, I'll say, because the city manager mentioned it, I didn't give you guys enough credit. I do some in the study, but I know you've done a lot of things. You have a lot of good programs. One of the things I was reminded of this morning that I forgot to talk about to the staff, so I'll remind you all, and that is, you're currently, well, maybe you're not aware, I think you're doing a windshield survey of your blight, right? People are inventorying that, and that was one of the things I had in the study. You should do that. Well, I wrote those recommendations before I knew you were doing that. So you guys are doing something you should be doing, so that's a good thing. So you're on your way. You had this study. All I'll leave you with is don't let this thing die. Do something. So we're there to help, even if it's brainstorming, whatever you need. Right. With that, thank you for letting me do this.
Thank you.
We sure do love a master plan.
Yeah.
Oh, now we will do a study.
Yes. And I want to say one more thing. Thank you for the Asheville Housing Coalition. I started looking it up, and I think it probably would be good for our Building Florence Together to kind of.
And I can put you in contact with the folks that are there. So that's the same thing for you see a citation. Oh, Huntington did something with Huntington, West Virginia did something with blight. I worked with them. So if you have people out there that want to help because they were in the same boat as you were. So
okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Council, if that's all, we will move on. Next on the agenda, we have the Business Development Committee.
The Business Development Committee did not meet in December. We took December off. However, we did celebrate the groundbreaking of Urban Square on December the 18th. So there's the elevator shaft foundations have been poured, and with good weather, hopefully they will continue, and we'll be seeing action coming out of the ground there very soon. So that's the report for the Business Development Committee.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Community Redevelopment. The committees, Councilman Smith, McCall, and myself. We did not meet. However, you have given us some homework to do, and we will get ready to meet to see some of the other things to add this to the list. We will work on better ways that we can come up with and even discuss some of the things that Councilman Braddock was talking about. So thank you so much. Is there anything else I left off? We're going to the appointments to Building Florence Together. I'm going to ask that we move that to executive session, if that's okay. Thank you so much. Next, we have Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee.
Again, we did not meet in December. I think everybody took the month. Didn't take it off, but we didn't have a committee meeting in December. We did have the budget retreat in Georgetown. I want to give staff a round of applause. Did we honor staff for that yet? No, we did not. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. A lot of information, a lot of things for us to digest. Yes. Y'all did a great job on y'all presentations. And look forward to being able to implement a lot of the things that you all suggested.
I think Scotty should take you all out for a steak meal. but 9 times out of 10, I'm sorry, you're going to get chicken nuggets.
Frugal, talking about.
Yeah, so that is it. We will now ready ourselves for executive session. Council, what say ye?
So moved.
Second. Okay. For discussion regarding appointments to boards and commission, for discussion regarding economic development project located downtown Central, and then for discussion regarding personnel matter, and then Then we will return after executive session. Thank you so much. We call this meeting back into session. We've got to vote to come out of
So move.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. We were in executive session. There was no vote taken. Now, City Manager, can we move to our boards and commissions?
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Our first board is the Design Review Board. That falls to Councilman McCall. We have no new applicants.
Defer. Sorry. Defer.
Next, we have Construction and Maintenance Board of Adjustments and Appeals. There are 4 vacancies. That falls to Madam Mayor. There are no applicants.
Defer.
We have our Resilience and Sustainability Advisory Committee. Falls to Councilman Smith. There are no applicants.
Defer.
Our Public Safety Citizens Review Board falls to Councilman McKay. We have 5 applicants.
I'd like to appoint Alexis Marinas.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
We have Board of Zoning and Appeals. Falls to Madam Mayor. We have 1 applicant.
Defer.
Finally, we have our Veterans Park Committee. Falls to Councilman Smith. We have 2 applicants.
Defer.
That concludes staff's report.
Thank you so much. Now we have another matter of personnel related.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Does that go first?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mayor, on this matter, I'd like to recuse myself. I think that this is on a matter that I have not been privy to the information for long enough, and based on goals that were set prior to me coming on the council. So due to that, those reasons, I'm going to recuse myself from this matter.
okay. Thank you. We don't have to vote for that, right? No. Okay. Council?
Madam Mayor, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the written performance evaluation of the city manager as discussed in executive session, and to authorize the mayor to execute the evaluation on behalf of the council and deliver the same to the city manager.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
I also have a second motion to make, Madam Mayor, and I move to amend the city manager's employment agreement to extend the term by 2 years.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. I think we are finished. Do I have a motion? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. This meeting is adjourned.